Hello, my name is Dante De Niro, and this is my Lab 9 deliverable. Um, so we'll kind of start off with going over the pseudo TFTP kind of solution that was my workaround. So basically, just reutilizing that code from last week. I'm just adding these two new MAC address entries and their associated configuration files. Um, so that my script will now look for those as well. Um, so if we run this, that's going to go ahead and connect to both R8 and then SW5. Um, so both of those were successfully found, and then I was able to send those configuration files. Again, on R8, I did the same thing that I did with R6 and R7. Kind of went into Bash and then did a DHCP client in order to get the IP address, and then I kind of did like a sudo and then IP at or IP DHCP um, get kind of thing. So I just basically just added that manually, but it shows in Bash, so it essentially works. And then same kind of thing on R5. I just did that on the VLAN interface itself. So the only thing I kind of configured here manually was a trunk port up to R8. So R8 will have a sub interface configured for SW5 so that they can communicate via the management network that I put on SW5. So regardless, you can still see that R2 is leasing those addresses out. So this is going to be SW5, and then this is going to be R6, R7, and R8. So this is R8. So this is the new addition. So that's kind of how the TFTP SDP part is working. Again, it'll send that configuration file that is specified here once it finds this MAC address within R2's DHCP leasing. So again, using Arista's API for that. So I just show the leasings, and then I can get the results back. So that's the ZTP part, and then for the rest of it, I basically just added R6, R7, R8, and then SW5 to the rest of my infrastructure as code. So for monitoring, let's go ahead and start that. So I mean, regardless, you can see R6 is here, and then R7 is also getting data as well. So this is kind of older data, but I encompassed it within a year just to get all of the data from a couple months ago as well. So, but regardless, you can see the new devices here. So you get R7, R8, and then SW5 at the bottom. So you can see that those interfaces are up. And then for CPU utilization, I added, S5, and then you'll have R6, R7, and R8. So you'll see those as well. So you can see the different CPU utilizations for those as well. So that's included. The new devices are included in the visualization part of the monitoring. They're being monitored with SNMP, gRPC, and syslog. So this is the gRPC information. And then config devices, again, if you want to go, just go R8, just do the loop back. Sure, that works. And then you'll send that configuration file. Oh yeah, fair enough. But regardless, it works. Just do 10. You can see. So again, this needs a little bit of work, but it's been added to, the new devices can at least do some type of thing. So again, if I wanted to do OSPF, I could then add information for OSPF as well. So, and then moving on to save configs, this will just save the running configs, so not a golden config, but if I want to just capture what's running on the device currently, maybe do compare that to what I have saved as my golden config, I can pull this data. So R7, The new devices, all of this will work exactly the same. And then if you go here, you can see the newest golden config here. So R7. Whoops. So that's the save config function. Templatize config as well will also work for the new devices. So that's going to be, that template's going to be successfully created from that configuration file. And then lastly, health checks. So this will also show, the different new devices that were added. So R6, R7, R8, and then SW5. And then you can see their routing tables, their neighborships, and then their CPU utilization here at the bottom as well. So all of that stuff's added to my my health check work. And then, oh yeah, okay, I guess I can show you my PAM. So obviously these are also added. So these will have different devices. And then, so all the new devices are added with their IPs as well. So, and again, I'm using that largely. So I'm pulling that into my main Flask app. So just added the different devices here. And then also added them in here as well. So now I'm looking for these devices with that specific interface ID. So basically just had to add that here. Stop this now. So yeah, just basically added this here and then updated this as well to, anything that loops through the different device dictionary, which is found down here, will then automatically pull the new device information. So that's that. Let me see. So pull this up. Where am I? Okay. So again, so I'm using GitHub Actions for kind of my DevOps cycle. So again, if I update this, just random push event to my main branch, this will enact my workflow, which essentially is just your kind of CI/CD process, which will do the code checking, make sure it's formatted correctly, and then run unit tests and then code coverage. So we can see that it's also running, again, doing a local runner. Also stop this. So again, running local runner on here, which basically just tells GitHub where to run that, where to run the files and where to source that. So you can see succeeded here. So we can kind of look through this. So for the unit tests, I added support for the different devices. So now this is checking R8. This will also check R6 and R7, and then SW5. Make sure the templates are formatted and in J2 format. I added a MAC address validity checker. So this will go ahead and open up. Where is it? So it'll go ahead and open up that file. That is my sudo TFTP server. It'll open up that file. It'll find everything that matches this regex. So this regex checks if it's a valid MAC address or not. And then if it's valid, it'll say it's valid. If it's not, it'll return it as not valid. So I'm checking that file to make sure the MAC addresses I'm entering are valid MAC addresses. So that's an additional unit test that I'm now running. And then I again added support for R6 and R8 for the OSPF neighborship. So I can see those neighborships to make sure those are all set and good to go. And then the same thing with ping. So I'm making sure I can ping those management IPs and then again SSH into those IPs as well. So going again to code coverage, the only thing I really added here is just that test for Mac and then another couple of other ones. So it's set 70 because all the ones that I'm running are successfully checked, and then the few that I need to add in the future are not there. So that's kind of what my code coverage is doing. So yeah, I think that's basically it. Thank you for listening.